Hello and welcome, astrology lovers. I'm Yvonne Davis, and in this video, I am going to talk about a week that's coming up very soon that is going to be so incredibly powerful, life-changing, even world-changing. So I suggest maybe you need to strap on a parachute or something because this is going to be like jumping out of an airplane high in the sky. All right, so let's go and look at the charts. But before we do that, real quick, I want to ask you to subscribe to my channel. Just click on the red button down there. And if you want to get notifications, click on the bell. Also, if you're willing to share with friends and family and on social media, I would really appreciate that. I'm trying to grow my channel. And also want to ask one more quick favor, which is that if you would be willing to go over to my Freedom channel, which you'll find a link below and pinned to the top of the comments and at the end of this video, and I'll also post up here. So it's super easy to find. And the thing about it is, like, I am getting really close to 1,000 subscribers, which is the minimum for monetization so that I can get paid for my work, which I really appreciate. So if you like my videos, if you like my content and you just want to do me a quick favor, just run on over there, a couple clicks, super easy and free, and it will support my work and it will mean so much to me. So thank you so much for all of you who have done that already. I'm getting so close to 1,000 and I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go and look at the charts so that you can see what I'm talking about when I say, wow, this is going to be so incredibly powerful. All right, so we're going to start by looking at the new moon eclipse on December 14th. And I've set it for Washington, D.C. time, so that's basically the East Coast in the United States. So basically just, adjust for your time zone and you'll be able to get the correct time. This is 11:16 a.m. on the East Coast. All right, so let's talk about this new moon eclipse. And I just want to say that I know a lot of you have been paying attention to what's happening politically. And so I think I'll touch on that first before I go into a more personal interpretation, like for you personally and individually. So let me just really quickly take you over to where we can just get the latest updates on the political situation. All right, so I'm going to pull up just a page on the internet. And I know I've mentioned in past videos that I have been looking at, like, not necessarily every day now, but usually when I make a video, I just go ahead and check on that. And I do a quick Google search for final election results 2020. And of course, nothing has changed basically, except for the fact that the Joe Biden's lead just keeps getting wider and wider. So this is it's more than a 4-point lead. Let's see, that's 4.5-point lead, percentage points. And then his lead in terms of the actual number of votes is over 7 million. Okay. All right. So one more thing I want to look at here, not that one, this one. So I also like to go to Ballotpedia and look at the certification deadlines. So these are the state deadlines, and these links are below, so you can, easily find that. So every one of them has met their deadline, and California has probably, certified their election, even though their deadline isn't until December 11th. So as far as I know, they've all certified their elections. There may be some, disputes still going on, but it's not going to change anything. All right, so let's go look at that new moon eclipse chart again. All right, so okay, so I'm going to talk about the political ramifications, and then I'll talk about personal interpretations, okay? So basically, the December 14th new moon eclipse happens on the very day that the delegates meet in the Electoral College, which they go to Washington, D.C., and they cast their votes. And we already know that Biden has 306 delegates to Trump's 232. And there is such a thing called the faithless delegate, which means that someone is supposed to cast their ballot in a certain way and they change their minds. That has never changed the outcome. In fact, the last presidential election in 2016 had more faithless delegates than any other time in the history of the United States, and it still didn't change the outcome. And so, you know, with a gap, you'd have to have, I think, at least 75 faithless delegates. And the most that have ever happened in the entire United States was 7. So that was, those faithless delegates were supposed to vote for Trump, but they voted for Hillary Clinton. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And it still didn't change anything. So, you know, so basically it'll be finalized on December 14th with the new moon eclipse. And so we are entering a whole new territory. This is going to be so powerful, both personally and collectively, okay? It's going to be really powerfully changing both for you as an individual in your life. The closer it is to actually, you know, aligning with something in your chart, the more powerful it'll be. And it's kind of like a spectrum, and it also depends on how it lands in your chart. So I think this is going to be really, really positive. And even if something gets triggered in your chart in a difficult way, like a square to your sun or something like that, because a tight square from this new moon eclipse to, you know, something like your sun or your ascendant is going to bring powerful change. And it might be difficult at first, because squares usually are. Squares and oppositions are usually a little more difficult because there's some integration and change that's needed. But otherwise, I would expect this to be extremely positive and powerful. And again, it just depends on how it's landing in your chart and how close it is to a particular point in your natal chart. But what I would say to you is I personally absolutely love eclipses. I love them because they bring change. Even the difficult ones bring important lessons that can bring change. So I love eclipses. I love like everything's just going along, feels kind of stagnant, you know. Then an eclipse comes along and some really powerful change can come into your life. And I think that's exciting. So yes, we are going to have change. This is certainly going to bring change in this country. And because, you know, the alignments are in the sky, can bring worldwide change in various ways. Again, it's all depending on where it's landing on a natal chart and that spectrum. So yeah, so in the United States, it's absolutely going to bring powerful and profound change. And part of the reason for that is because it happens on the day that the delegates meet in the Electoral College. And that is going to bring something profoundly new. It's not going to be the same old thing. And, you know, I would say that there may be some Republicans out there, maybe a lot of Republicans out there, who think it's just going to be the same old thing. But I can assure you it's not. It's not going to be what they fear, which is totalitarianism. And the reason why I know that is because of the fact that the next thing that comes up And this is why the week is going to be so powerful as a whole, is because this happens on December 14th. And then exactly a week later, by the way, that's Monday, December 14th. And then exactly a week later, we have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction on the 21st, Monday the 21st, okay? So that's a week block of time where we have two unbelievably, incredibly powerful, life-changing alignments. This one is literally world-changing, okay? The Saturn Jupiter conjunction. And I have mentioned multiple times in my recent videos that I did a video titled The Next 12 Years of Power, and it's over on Patreon. If you want to become a patron and see that, just click on the link below in the description box. There's the link to my Patreon channel. And each tier has gifts, and so if you want the gifts, just message me on Patreon, and I'll get that to you, and you get, you know, exclusive and advanced viewing, all ad free. So, and then also the Friday group Zoom meetings that we have on a regular basis, which we are having one coming this Friday as well at 4:30 Mountain Time. So if any of that appeals to you, just head on over to Patreon. There's a link in the description box below. So I am still working on getting that video, The Next 12 Years of Power, into a form that I think would be more appropriate for my YouTube channel, because I believe it's 51 minutes long. And, you know, it's fascinating and it's exciting, but I want to be able to deliver that information to you in a shorter series of videos. And I still haven't worked out how to do that. But I wanted to share something else with you guys, which is that with a new moon eclipse, and by the way, you can do this. Sometimes eclipses bring change, whether you want it to or not. And this new moon may do that for you, depending on how it lands in your chart. But you can also choose to create new things and have that energy working for you, okay? So as an example, the two new things in my life, and we're going to talk more about this when I shift over to the more personal interpretations. The two new things in my life are, one, creating this new channel and being able to upload a ton of different content besides just the astrology. I love the astrology. I'm going to keep doing it, but I have a lot of other stuff that I really want to share. And that's why I created the other channel, so that I can keep this all astrology, and then I can do all the other stuff on the other channel. And it's all about freedom. Okay. It's all about freedom, how you can free yourself. And the reason why I want to say this is because I know that one of the fears that Republicans have, which is so, you know, it's terrifying to them, it's upsetting to them. And I want to address it in this video because regardless of who's watching this video, I think it's important to understand what's going on in the mindset. And one of their biggest fears is literally totalitarianism, okay? Because that's what they've been told, you know, that's the propaganda that they keep using the word socialism. I don't know if they use the word communism, but definitely they use the word socialism to equate with Democrats. And that's a lie. That's a lie. There's no socialism in this country, and there's not going to be socialism. There is wealth redistribution, but the thing that Republicans don't seem to understand is there's always wealth distribution. There is no time when there is not wealth distribution. Every single day, 24/7, 365, every minute of the day, every hour of the day, every single day of the year, every year of the decade, every year of the century, there is wealth distribution, okay? For millennia, there has been wealth distribution, redistribution, okay? The problem is that the wealth redistribution goes up, 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 always up, always. It's always being redistributed up, 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 up. And that's the standard, okay? And so all the that the Democrats are trying to do is to try to, hey, wait a minute, can we have a little bit down here too, please? You know, like we're working so hard every day, 40 hours a week. Sometimes, you know, there are a lot of people out there who work more than 40 hours a week. There are a lot of people out there who have 3 jobs just to try to make ends meet, and they still are having a hard time. And so, yeah, just like, I think Democrats get that, but for some reason, Republicans don't seem to understand that wealth redistribution is happening all the time, every day, every single minute of the day, every day. It's up, it goes up. Yeah, so there's no socialism in this country, and there's not going to be socialism in this country. There is wealth redistribution, but it's going up. And so hopefully, you know, with the new Democratic administration, hopefully we can get a little bit shared down here with the rest of us 99% who are working our butts off to make a living. So that's one thing I wanted to address, okay, that there is no socialism, and there's not going to be any socialism, and there's certainly not going to be any totalitarianism. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that Jupiter is conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, squaring Uranus, okay? And certainly on the East Coast, like Washington, D.C., Uranus is even on the ascendant. So Uranus is incredibly powerful in this chart. And Uranus is all about freedom, liberation, freedom of the individual to go their own way and do what they want to do. And so this is about learning to balance the freedom of the individual with the authority, the power and authority of the government, okay? And really, this is about all forms of power and authority. This was kicked off with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in January of 2020 that set us on this amazing year, which a lot of people don't understand. Why is all this happening? It's happening for a reason. It had to crumble the old. It had to make us see the weaknesses in the old so that we can rebuild. And it's not going to be socialism. It's certainly not going to be totalitarianism. But it is a restructuring of power and authority to create more freedom for humanity. Okay, that's the ultimate goal. We're still in the phase of the weaknesses, okay? And I know that because of the square. The square is going to get even more intense as we move forward. It gets at its most intense on Inauguration Day, because all the fears in the Republicans who voted for Trump are being triggered, okay? They're terrified because they don't understand. They think we're moving toward totalitarianism, but we're actually not. We're actually moving toward the opposite. And I know that because of Jupiter in Aquarius. These are very freedom-loving energies squaring Uranus, which rules Aquarius. So Uranus is incredibly powerful in this square. And Uranus is saying, hey, we got to have freedom. And Jupiter's saying, hey, we got to have freedom here. Freedom for as many people, as much freedom as possible for as many people as possible. And so, you know, I'm not talking about Jeff Bezos here. I'm not talking about the freedom of a person like Jeff Bezos. I'm talking about a freedom of the 99%, not one person. I'm talking about the freedom of the 99%, to have freedom to be able to enjoy the benefits of society, you know. They should be available to the 99%, not just one person. And, you know, so it's not about the freedom of just this one person. And I'm mentioning him because he's listed by Forbes as, or anywhere you search on the internet, as the wealthiest man in the world. So, you know, so, and again, it's not about the freedom of that one person. It's about the freedom of the 99%. And, but, you know, a lot of people who voted for Trump have been propagandized to believe that what we're moving into, because we're having a democratically controlled executive branch and House, possibly even the Senate, but we'll hold off on getting too excited about that until we get a little bit closer. And But anyway, again, they've been propagandized to associate the Democratic Party with totalitarianism, and they've heard the word socialism, and that's all false. That's all a lie. That's not the direction we're moving in, and I know that because of the astrology. Now, Saturn will be in there for 2.5 years, and Saturn is about authority, and it's about authority and the established institutions. Okay, and so that sounds like the old, right? The old authority, the old established like institutions, and the old established power and authority. So that sounds like the old, but interestingly enough, with Saturn, the planet moving through Aquarius and in the square to Uranus, it's actually transforming the old power and authority structures and institutions. Okay, so by the time Saturn gets all the way through Uranus, all the way through Aquarius and its square to Uranus, which rules Aquarius, it'll be profoundly transformed. Okay. And it's not going toward totalitarianism. It's actually going toward the opposite. It's going toward more democracy, more freedom for the 99%, more democracy for the 99%. Okay. Because this is a sign of humanity. Okay. And we'll get to also benefit from the new, like science and technology, new technologies, new scientific discoveries, which is interesting to me because I remember when I was younger, I've always had a fascination with science fiction. And I remember when I was younger that there was this idea, especially post-World War II, there was an idea, and I would say it was strongest in the late 40s, the 50s, and the 60s, up until I don't know. It seems like the 70s got kind of narcissistic in a way, and lost that focus and hope for the future. But I do remember like this idea back then where people were so excited about the future, about science and technology in the future, about how that would make our lives easier. And thus we wouldn't have to toil in these kind of, I guess in a way I would say meaningless. Maybe it's important to do those things, but they didn't necessarily expand our consciousness, which I've always felt is the most important thing for a human being to do, because that's what makes us unique, is that we have this consciousness. So, so the science and technology, that was like the idea of the future, is that we would all get to benefit from scientific and technological advances, and that would make our lives better, like less toil, more focus on self-development, human potential, consciousness expansion, relationships, exercise, being in nature, all the things that we really want to do. And so why are we still toiling, And then people get scared. Well, automation is going to replace jobs. And that is an important issue. If wealth redistribution is still going up all the time, up, like it normally does, then yeah, that would be a problem, because Jeff Bezos will just keep getting richer and richer and richer, and the rest of us will, still be struggling, some without even having a job, because they were replaced by automation, which is happening. And so the idea wasn't that we would be thrown out of work and have no way to support ourselves. The idea was that the benefits of science, technology, and automation would the wealth would be redistributed so that everybody could share in that, all of humanity could share in that benefit and have more freedom too. more freedom to do what you want to do when you wake up in the morning, to really grow yourself as a human being. That's the whole point of Aquarius. That's the whole point of the age of Aquarius. So we're on the cusp. We really are on the cusp. And this is a time that we are going to move toward more freedom, not less freedom. So it's super exciting. All the other stuff is just fear mongering. Okay. The propaganda that's being fed to Republicans, Trumpsters, the right wing, it's all propaganda. I know that because Saturn moving through Aquarius is going to break apart the hardness of, and yeah, that's the best word I can think of, like the hardness, like the compactness of earthy Capricorn. Okay, now it's in air. Everything's being broken apart and reconstructed in a way that will benefit humanity. Okay, that's the direction we're moving in. And then when Saturn finally moves out of Aquarius 2.5 years later into Pisces, it moves into compassion. Pisces is the sign of compassion. And Pluto ends up moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. And then that pretty much locks it in. Then we're fully into the Aquarian age. Okay. So think freedom. Think freedom, 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 freedom. Freedom for every person who can, as long as it's not impinging upon the freedom of humanity, which wealth redistribution up does impinge upon the freedom of humanity, because sure, Jeff Bezos gets to do whatever he wants to do. That's great. But what about all the people who work for him? For, I don't know, I think they probably earn a little over minimum wage, but I personally don't think it's a living wage. And I think a lot of people who work for Amazon would say that too. It's not a living wage. They're not being freed up. Jeff Bezos is being freed up, but the 99% who either don't have a job or work for minimum wage or just a smidge over minimum wage are not free. And this is about freeing humanity. Freeing humanity. This is all about freedom, freedom, freedom. Okay, so that's what I would say on the collective. Okay, this is going to be an absolutely unbelievably powerful week, starting with the new moon eclipse in Sagittarius on December 14th. And then exactly a week later, on Monday, December 21st, we get the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius at 0 degrees. Something new is absolutely being born, and it is so exciting. And it's all about freedom, all about freedom, freedom for humanity. And so, yeah, look forward to that. It's going to be absolutely awesome, amazing week, life-changing. And I think that I think I should go ahead and in this video, because I have touched on mostly on the collective, but I think you get some kind of idea about yourself. Maybe I'll touch on the new moon eclipse one more time, because you really do want to take advantage of that new moon energy. It can be life-changing. It may bring things that you already know, because a lot of times eclipses do that. They're very powerful. They're compelling, because they're karmic. So when it lands in your chart in a powerful way, the change becomes compelling. You can't fight it. Okay, it's going to change your life because it's karmic. If it's not landing in your chart in that intense a way, because maybe the orb is like really wide and it's not like landing straight on, or making a really tight aspect to any of your planets, you can still use this energy. If there's a way you want to change your life, you can definitely use this energy. So I would say for myself, creating my new freedom channel, that is like, it's compelling, it's absolutely compelling. And I know I'm supposed to be doing that. It fits perfectly with my chart. Being in the eclipse I'm Sagittarius, by the way. So the eclipse is affecting me personally, my life, my image to the world. That's all first house. And also it's in my 6th house, So it's my solar first house because my sun is in Sagittarius. And then it's my 6th house for my ascendant, which is work and daily tasks. And it's definitely changing my work with the new channel. So I'll have 2 YouTube channels on my Patreon. And I want to create more and better content for all of you out there, whether you're watching for free on YouTube or whether you want to be a patron and get more FaceTime with me. Either way, I just want to share everything I have to share and put it out there. I love doing this work and I want to be able to do more of it and expand my repertoire. So I'm super, super excited about it. And it's very compelling, very compelling. The other change that's coming for me that is like unstoppable is that I will be moving out of my current living situation, and I will be nomadic for a while. I don't know exactly when I'll settle down. I don't know the answers to those questions, but that's fine. You know, I'm just going to go with the flow and see what that lifestyle has to offer, and that'll be on my Freedom channel as well. All right, so I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and end here because I know this is already getting really, really long. I just wanted to say it's going to be an absolutely incredibly powerful, life-changing, world-changing week from December 14th to December 21st. Unbelievable. Strap on your parachute because it's going to be like jumping out of a plane at 20,000 feet or something. I don't know. I've never jumped out of planes. I don't know how high up they are when they do it, but it's going to be intense and it's going to be exciting. And it's all about new things. Absolutely. All about new things, new exciting things. Love the Sagittarius. Love the Jupiter aspect. I love the Aquarian aspect. It's just going to be awesome. And so maybe something's happening for you that's compelling and you know that change that's coming. Or if you don't, choose something. If there's something you want in your life, choose it. Make it happen. Make it happen with this powerful new moon eclipse. Okay. All right. So I'll be back during the week with my work on, oh, I should say also I'm learning to do film editing as well. So I'm going to see if I can work out that next 12 years of power video and get it up in a way that I can put it in shorter segments on YouTube for you on this channel. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, and I can come back and I can talk some more about, like, as we move through this week from December 14th to December 21st, we could talk more about what's happening every single day because it's going to be so powerful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop there before this gets way too long. And just want to say that, as always, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do just click on that little red button there in the corner and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're willing to go over to my Freedom channel and just go click, 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 that's it. So simple, free, and it helps me tremendously. Thank you so much. Wow. I am just like, whew, I just flew out of an airplane. Oh, it's going to be so exciting. All right. As always, thank you so much. And I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.